All right, welcome back. So we are on Book 6, Lesson 13, Expressions with Exponents. 13.1, which one doesn't belong? All right, so let's look. Well, 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. Okay, well, 16 and 16 both match. Let's see what 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 represents, because we know that 2 to the 4th means 2 times itself 4 times. Well, we know those two match, so this has to equal 16. But 4 times 2 is just 8. So this would be the one that does not match. All right, 13.2, is the equation true? So decide whether each equation is true or false and explain how you know. Well, 2 to the 4th does not mean 2 times 4. So this is false because 2 to the 4th is equal to 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, not multiplying by 4. 3 plus 3 plus 3. Well, if you add 3 together, all these 3's together, 3 plus 3 is 6. 6 plus 3 is 9. 9 plus 3 is 12. 12 plus 3 is 15. But 3 to the 5th, this is going to have to be false because 3 to the 5th means 3 times itself 5 times, not 3 times 5. Okay, and we know that that would actually equal, because we know that 3 times 3 is 9, 9 times 3 is 27, 27 times 3 is 81, and so then we'd have to do 81 times 3, and that is 243. 243 can't be equal to 15, okay? All right, 5 to the 3rd, 5 times 5 times 5, that is true, because they're multiplying 5 3 times, okay? 2 to the 3rd and 3 to the 2nd. Remember, we're not multiplying by each other, we're multiplying them that many times. So this is false because 2 to the 3rd is equal to 2 times 2 times 2, and 3 to the 2nd is equal to 3 times 3, okay? 16 to the 1. So 16 to the, anything to the first power is just going to be itself. So we have 16 is equal to, well, 8 times 2 is actually equal to 8 times 8, right? Because 8 to the 2nd power is not the same as 8 times 2. So this is false because 8 to the 2nd is equal to 8 times 8, and we know that's equal to 64. All right? 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2 is the same as 4 and 1/2, or 4 times 1/2. So 4 times 1/2, let's first talk about if we multiply all these 1/2s, remember we always multiply numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. So 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 8 times 2 is 16. So this is going to be 1 over 16 because 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 is just 1 for the numerator. 4 times 1/2, remember we put a 1 over the bottom, and so 4 times 1/2, well 4 times 1 is 4, 1 times 2 is 2, so that's going to be 2. 1 over 16 cannot equal 2, so this was false. 1/2 to the 4th power, so remember what that means is 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2. Well, 1/2 times 1/2 is going to be 1/4. 1/4 times 1/2 would be 1/8. So if it was to the 3rd power, it would be okay. But this is going to be 1 over 16, so this was also false. 8 to the 2nd power is 8 times 8, which is 64. 4 to the 3rd power is 4 times 4 times 4. So 4 times 4 we know is 16. 16 times 4 is 64. So this is actually true. They are both equal. All right. Oh, and I did not scoot up for you guys while I was completing those, so let me give you a second to look over your answers for those. Okay. Pause video if needed. All right, so 13.3. Let's see what we've got. So what's your reason? In each list, find expressions that are equivalent to each other and explain to your partner why they are equivalent. Your partner listens to your explanation. If you disagree, explain your reasoning until you agree. Switch roles for each list. There may be more than 2 equivalent expressions in each list. Okay? So now that you've gone through them with your partners, let's talk about what you found. So 5 times 5 is equal to 25. 2 to the 5th we know is going to be 32 because it's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 5 times 5 is 25. 2 times 5 is 10. Okay, so we would say that these two would be alike because 5 to the 2nd power means 5 times 5. Okay? 4 to the 3rd. Well, we know that means that you're going to multiply 4 times itself 4 times, or 3 times. So this is actually going to be equivalent to this one. This would just be equal to 12. And this one, we know that 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 is actually going to equal 81. Okay? Taking a look at number 3. This means 6 plus 6 plus 6. Well, when we have exponents, we know it's multiplying, not adding. So 6 times 6 times 6, so we know 6 times 6 is 36. 36 times 6 is going to equal 216. Okay? 3 to the 6th power, well, we know that 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. 27 times 3 is 81. So that's 4 3's. Let's multiply 81 by 3. We get 243. We multiply it by 3 again, and we get 729. 3 times 6 is 18. If we go back up here, 6 plus 6 is 12. This is also 18. So A is going to match with D. Okay. Let's look at number 4. So we've got 11 to the 5th, so that means to multiply 11 5 times, so these match. 11 times 5 is equal to 55. 5 to the 11th power, so that would mean to multiply 5 11 times. So 5 times 5 times 5 11 times is going to be a very large number, so it comes out to 48,828,125. So we know 11 to the 5th power comes out to be a large number as well, but not as large as this number. All right, so then number 5, we know if we can multiply all these, we have 1 over, because 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. 5 times 5 times 5 would be 125. Okay, this is going to be the same thing because 1 to the 5th times itself 3 times is what we just did above. So we've got A and B that match. That does not equal 1 over 25 for C, or 1 over 125, but D could also be correct, okay, because that is our answer to A and B. Number 6, all right, to the 2nd power, that means we'd have to multiply 5 over 3 twice. Well, 5 times 5 is 25. 3 times 3 is 9, so it'd be 25 over 9. This one would indicate 3 times 3, which is 9, and 5 times 5 is 25. So we've got 9 over 25 for this one. 10 over 6 is not the same as either of these, but 25 over 9 is the same as A. So A and D would match with that. All right, so now that you have done this with your partners and we've gone over it, if you have any more questions, please let me know. I want you to start on your Lesson 13 homework.